Good morning. Boker Tov. It's Tuesday. It must be Torah Tuesday. Yay! Hello there. I hope your day is going well. I hope your week is going well, for that matter. Today we're going to talk about Toldot, a tale of the twins, a tale of two twins. These are the generations of Isaac and the son of Abraham. Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to be his wife. And Isaac prayed to Adonai because Rebekah was barren. And Adonai accepted his prayer, and she became pregnant. The children struggled in her womb, and she said, "If such, why am I thus?" And he went to inquire of Adonai. Adonai said to her, "Two nations are in your womb, and two peoples from with you will separate. One people will become stronger than the other, and the older serve the younger." When the time came for her to give birth, behold, there were twins in her womb. The first one come out was red. He was altogether like a coat of hair. So they named him Esau. After this, his brother came out, with his hand grasping Esau's heel. So he was named Jacob. Now Isaac was 60 years old when he gave birth to them. Okay. Now, what's going on here? A couple of things. One, back in the day when this was written, the Hebrews believed that it took three partners to make a baby: the father, the mother, and God. You couldn't do it by yourselves. It was, today we consider it the miracle of birth. But because of science, we know what's going on biologically, etc., etc., etc. But back then, in the day, three people were involved. Okay, well, actually, I shouldn't say three people. Two people and God. Three partners. Okay? So we had the mother, the father, and then God gave his blessing. Okay? So, Rebekah was barren. That means she couldn't have babies. God puts the babies, the twins, into her. And Esau comes out first. Now, Esau is also, he is hairy, very hairy, and he also has red hair. Okay? And Jacob comes out, and he's very fair-skinned, and he's not like Esau at all. When they're growing up, Esau becomes a man's man, and he's into hunting, and he's into sports, and all that stuff. Jacob, he's the guy who's inside the house reading, playing, if they had him, video games, etc., etc., etc. Okay? He's the homebody. He's the mama's boy. Okay? Esau is the father's favorite. Okay, Isaac. And Jacob is Rebekah's favorite. Okay? So why is this important? Well, when it comes time for the birthright, okay, in order to be a patriarch, which Jacob is, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, well, Jacob is the second born, so how can Jacob be a patriarch, you're asking? This is how. Esau goes out hunting one time. He's on one of his hunting parties. And I guess he forgot to eat. And he came back and he was starving to death. And he's just so hungry. And Jacob is busy cooking a red stew. Here's that red thing again, okay? And he says, "I'm hungry, please feed me, brother." And Jacob says, "Well, I'll tell you what. Give me your birthright and I'll feed you." Well, Esau was starving to death. He must have really been hungry, okay? And he says, where is it? Jacob said, "First sell me your birthright." And Esau said, "Look, I'm about to die. What good is a birthright to me?" But Jacob said, "Swear it to me this day." So Esau swore to him, selling his birthright to Jacob for a bowl of stew, red stew. Okay? Then Jacob gave Esau bread and the lentil stew, and he ate and drank. Then he rose and left. In this way, Esau scorned his birthright. So he sold his birthright for a bowl of stew, okay? Well, he figures it out, and he's not a happy camper, okay? Because that means not only is he no longer going to be the patriarch, the next patriarch, but that means he's not going to inherit anything either. Because it's always the firstborn who inherits everything, not the secondborn. Well, Rebekah's having none of that if he catches on. So, when Isaac is dying, he can't see, he can hardly hear, but he can't hear, but he can't see worth a damn, okay? So Rebekah takes Jacob, and she has him go out and kill 2 goats, and she takes the fur, and she puts it on his hands and arms, and on his face, so that when Isaac reaches up to feel him, he holds his hand, he thinks he's holding Esau's hand. But he's confused because he's hearing Jacob's voice. And Jacob keeps on saying to him, don't worry about it, I'm Esau. Okay? So Isaac gives him the blessing. And where is it? Jacob came to his father and said, my father. Isaac answered, here I am, my son. Which one are you? Jacob said, I am Esau, your firstborn. Please sit up, eat of my wild meat, then give me your innermost blessing. Isaac asked, how did you find it so quickly, my son? And he answered, Adonai, your God, gave me success. Interesting. Adonai, your God. We'll get there in a second. Okay? Isaac said to Jacob, now come closer that I may feel you, my son. Are you really my son Esau or not? Jacob came closer to his father Isaac and felt him and said, the voice is the voice of Jacob, but the hands are the hands of Esau. Remember the goat skin. Okay? He did not recognize Jacob since his hands were hairy like his brother's Esau's hands. So, he gives him his blessing. Thus he gave him his inheritance. So now, Esau doesn't have a dime. He's not the older brother anymore, even though technically he is. He's not the head of the tribe or whatever. And he's out of money. Because Jacob gave the inheritance, gave the blessing to Jacob. Yeah, Jacob's not a very nice guy. I get it. Okay? Actually, it'll become important in the next couple of parshat that we'll really see what kind of guy Jacob is and becomes later. Okay? So, why is this so important? And he answered, Adonai, your God, gave me success. Well, the deal was made with Abraham and Isaac for being a patriarch. Okay? So Jacob doesn't consider himself part of that deal yet. Now later on, we'll get into it later on when we get into a later parsha, he'll consider himself part of that deal. But as of right now, that's just part of his father's deal. Okay? Think of, you go to college, you come back, and your parents are doing whatever they're doing. They're into something else now. Okay? Well, he's into a new religion. Well, technically, Jacob grew up in this. So did Esau into Judaism, or being a Hebrew. But they don't consider themselves Hebrews because it's their father's religion. Get it? Okay. So, what happens, of course, is Esau goes away in a huff. He gets mad, for obvious reasons, and takes his people, okay, his tribe, and he leaves the family, and he goes and makes another people. Actually, in history, makes the Edomites, E-D-O-M-ites, Edomites, okay? Well, if you think about it, isn't this very, very close to what happened with Isaac? Okay, Abraham tries to sacrifice him, and Isaac gets all upset for obvious reasons. And Isaac and Abraham never talk again. Okay, but interesting that they don't talk, but Abraham finds Isaac's wife. Okay, Rebecca at 40 years old. The story of that. So, the bottom line here is with the patriarchs, there's a very, very hostile relationship going. And we're basically repeating what happened to Abraham with Isaac. And then when we get to Jacob, you'll see the similarity when we get there. Okay? I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. Send me comments, send me likes, send me emails, carrier pigeons, whatever. And until next week, on Torah Tuesday, have a good week, have a good Shabbos, and I'll see you next week for Torah Tuesday. Hey, peace out.